Hi there. So for my second hurricane recovery video, my dear friend Pamela Hope, founder and principal designer for Pamela Hope Designs, is going to be helping us out with helping you get ready when you're in that phase where you've got all your FEMA approval and you're ready to start rebuilding and getting your walls back and getting your closet back together. This is a great opportunity for you to maybe make some improvements on things that you had before. So Pamela's got some great ideas for things for you to keep in mind.
That is a good point, because during this difficult time of recovery, rebuilding, remediation, the good news, if there's a little silver lining, would be maybe we improve a few things that you may have been wanting to improve in the past. Now, interestingly enough, and I don't know if this fact will hold true with the current weather we've had over the last few months. However, I was told by an insurance adjuster many years ago that water damage from inside the home, plumbing, and HVAC is actually more common than weather-related. So some of today's tips might be helpful for people who were lucky enough not to have to go through some of these terrible floods and rain incidents that we've had.
Well, and as you know, I suffered from one of those myself. 3 months after I moved in.
I remember that was a big deal, and it's so upsetting and heartbreaking, particularly with a new house and a new closet.
That's right, especially when it soaked that beautiful fabric that you picked out for my sofa downstairs.
Oh, we had just reupholstered, if I recall.
Yep.
But anyway, so back to the closet. You're going to be asked soon by your contractor about texture and paint. They're going to start saying selections. What are your selections? Well, kind of like designing a bridal gown, you want to know what color, what material it's going to be out of. And of course, there'll be some embellishments down the road. But for the basics right now, they want to know, what are we going to do with the sheetrock on the walls? They want to know, what are we going to do with the built-ins or the cabinetries and the trim? And I've got some tips for you there. Generally, most people want to use a light color on their closet walls. I know a Tiffany blue closet sounds very glamorous, or maybe powder puff pink.
Can I not have like stripes on striped wallpaper?
Stripes, you can. And occasionally we do. But in your closet, you want to be able to see things. At night, during the morning, you may have no natural light at all, and you want to be able to match your colors. So proper lighting and a lighter neutral background color is going to be your friend.
So you get those navies and blacks right. I always mess those up.
Exactly. So I wanted to show just a little bit of a demonstration. Your builder used a simple neutral wall color that he would have used in the rest of the house. That's an economical thing to do because you've already bought a good amount of that paint, and you just continue it in the closet. If you had slightly more dramatic colors in your house, right now we're doing things a little lighter, but let's say you wanted to do gray, people still love gray, and you'd gone deeper. In my opinion, these hues are a little dark for the closet, so you might just move over to more of a white. These are all considered whites, and you can see they still have a little bit of pigment. They don't all have to be super boring. But white is not a bad answer. It may not sound dramatic or exciting, but it's not a bad answer.
You can use the dramatic and exciting stuff with your lighting, which you're going to talk about later.
Lighting and your clothes and all that other stuff. And some finishing touches. Yes. The built-ins and the cabinetry, that's normally going to be the same color as your trim. And we're going to probably have at least a little bit of trim around our doors, probably some baseboards, things like that. Again, really no reason to come up with a brand new paint color unless for some reason you really want contrast in your closet. Or I guess if maybe you had really dark trim. Let's say you have a stained, historic looking home. You're not going to want probably stained trim in your closet. So again, just repeat what you had. It should be fine. If your carpenter is going to be building in your shelves, like these were probably done by the builder and his carpenters who built this home, they're probably just going to paint it with your trim paint, and that's absolutely fine. If you're having a custom closet built by a closet design company, then they are probably going to have you go to their showroom and they're going to show you finishes that you get to select for all your built-ins. In that case, you may want to match your trim, you may want to contrast with your trim, or you may choose a different color for your trim so you can match what your new closet components are going to be.
And I did hear a comment from a friend of mine that flooded, that she had one of those custom designs when she bought her house, but it was really designed for the previous occupant.
Right.
So this is her opportunity to get one that's more designed for the way she needs to use it.
Well, they're they're very, very specific. They will come in and they'll say, Misty, how often do you travel? Tell me which suitcase you use the most often. Do you golf? How many golf bags do you want to keep in here? It's very, very precise.
Never think of those things.
So if you ski but don't golf and you've got room for 4 golf bags, well, can we reuse that space or do we redesign it specifically for you? Custom closet companies, it's a bit of a luxury, but it is a lovely product and you can have a closet that really works hard for you. So a little tip there, if you are going to have a custom closet company come and build this out for you, you may not need to do much at all to your walls. So if you're sheetrocking because of storm or flood damage or even a water leak in the house, ask them how they want the space finished out. They may say, put up sheetrock and maybe just barely float over, no texture, maybe no paint, no priming, if we're going to cover it up with all custom cabinetry. That'll save you a little bit of money. Otherwise, if you build it in, then they have to tear it out. Guess what? That costs you some money.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's our walls. Now we talk about floor. Oh, ceiling.
Oh, ceiling.
Lighting. Okay.
Well, the reason we always forget about the ceiling. We call it the 5th wall in the industry. The ceiling, the goal of a ceiling often, particularly in a closet, is to help distribute the light throughout the room. So really your best bet is just a white, flat ceiling paint. Very simple. Again, probably a paint you have someplace else in the house. That will help any light source that we have in this room equally just distribute and kind of smooth out the light. And that does take us to lighting. So lighting in closets actually is usually limited by a lot of code. You should talk to your electrician or your contractor because the most beautiful chandelier may not actually pass inspection if you're having to pull permits for your job.
Now, are you finding with some of the closets that you're working with post-flood or homes in general, are they able to often just kind of keep whatever lighting they have, or are they having electrical damage from the flooding that's getting that far up?
Most of the time, no. In most of the homes that I've been working in, the appliances that have been higher up, and also virtually all the light fixtures have been fine. So probably you have a few recessed lights in your ceiling. The goal with the recessed lights, if you can do LED, it's going to be your friend. And you really want a color temperature around 2700, which is a little warmer than what you have here. This is very cool blue lighting. And while I can see really well, I'm not getting a lot of the warm tones of your fabrics and your clothing. So we would probably put in what we would call a 2700 Kelvin soft white LED. It's a beautiful light and you'll feel like you can really match your colors. Later, you might be able to put in a little bling, but there are some limitations on those fixtures. So check before you spend a fortune on some chandelier that you are hoping you can fit and then find out that your electrician says, no, it's a no-no.
Yeah, got it. So, okay, so that's lighting in the ceiling. So what about the floor? Because, I never did replace the carpet after my washing machine went Linda Blair a couple of years ago. So I still need to do that. Any special recommendations for flooring, especially for people that have dealt with floods?
Well, so the floor in the closet's always a little bit awkward because a lot of times people have, like you for example, have a beautiful natural stone bathroom. That's a little bit expensive to put in the closet. It's also cold, and I'll tell you, men are really fussy about cold feet. The guys that I work with are always saying, I don't want to get up in the morning and walk through a cold bedroom to a cold bathroom to a cold closet to get dressed. I know you can wear slippers, but still. So what can we do with the closet flooring? The easiest and most economical answer is to use a carpet, again, that you have someplace in the house. Maybe in the game room, maybe in the secondary bedrooms. Very simple, warm underfoot, and fairly easy to replace and fairly economical. Hardwood's very luxurious. So if you have hardwood elsewhere in the house and you want it in the master bed closet, I don't know that I do it in all the secondary closets unless all your bedrooms are wood, but a lot of people do like it in the master because it is pretty dramatic. It's also not quite as cold as stone, so that's an option.
And you can do a little area rug, right?
You can do a little area rug, that's absolutely fine. And then tile is always a good option. One thing that I think about is when you're cleaning the area, if you introduce something like carpet, that you don't have any place else on the second or the third floor, you then have to haul the vacuum cleaner up or keep a vacuum cleaner up here or remind your housekeeper, and I think it's just a little bit more trouble. So I love when you can clean the floor consecutively from the master bathroom to the master closet.
That's a great point. And I miss this. This is the only carpet that I have on the second floor. I think too, sometimes when you drop things, that I always think about that, it maybe being a little bit easier to not have to get through a real plush rug to get to it. So.
Oh, absolutely. These shag rugs that are so dramatic and lovely, don't drop a diamond stud. you may never find it again.
Yep.
So that's a very good point. So not maybe too fluffy. If you really want that, maybe that could be your fun little rug in your bathroom, or perhaps just a little rug you put in front of maybe your ball gowns or something like that.
There you go. For my puppy to sit on while I'm
For your
ready.
puppy to, yes, the dog needs a soft surface too, right?
There you go, yes.
So for the selections for your contractor and to try to speed up your remediation and your rebuilding process, having ideas on your floors, ideas on your paint colors, and ideas on your lighting and your ceiling if necessary. You might not even have to deal with that right now. That'll be great to have that. Give it to the guys when they're ready to start the work, and you won't be pestered the morning of, oh my goodness, what color am I going to paint my closet? Oh my goodness, what kind of floor do we want in our closet?
Well, thank you so much. I think those were some really good tips, and even a couple things I'll pull in when I'm doing the closet reboot. But in the meantime, we hope that you guys found this helpful, and thank you so much for watching. If you did get something good out of it, please give us a like and follow us. And if you have any comments, that'd be great too.